If the roar of the crowd gives you goosebumps, cashing a slip makes you grin, and above all, you love making your bookie cry, then you're in the right place. The #1 spot for premier betting advice and wild opinions, shared with a fan base like no other. Welcome home. This is the Punch List MMA Podcast.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Dale in here. I usually beat around the bush a little bit, but I'm not going to do that. I had this big grandiose intro that I was going to give you. However, words just kind of fall short, man. I mean, no, there's not really much I can say that is going to do the legend of Lou much justice. So I will say this: a legendary character in the Twitter sphere, the MMA Twitter sphere, and then the gambling in general. A fellow degen at heart. And a man that's not afraid to pull punches and or drink a beverage of choice. So a man after my own heart as well. So Lou, at Lou Betya on Twitter, for those of you who are uninitiated and about to become so. How are you, buddy?
The scotch is starting to hit me, so I'm feeling pretty good. I got Balky rocking on the wall.
Yeah.
I love paying off a joke that's been going on for 1 month with like a 10-cent fucking poster that I got on my wall. So excited to be on the show. This is a long week because we got next week off. So
yeah,
got to give the people what they want right now, right, my brother?
And I appreciate you doing so. I will find it. I'm going to go ahead and say it's not even coincidental. It might even be some sort of divine intervention that Balky shows up. For those of you who are unaware, there's a little bit of back and forth going on in regards to Balky because we're trying to figure out whether or not Romania exists in the realm of the Balkan Mountains or the Caucasus Mountains, and you know.
But he's from Mypos, so
yes,
and Mypos is from. It's next to Parts Unknown,
yeah,
which is where like the Ultimate Warrior was from.
That's
it's
true.
Somewhere near. I think
That's
it's
true.
like you get to Parts Unknown, you turn your bag a left.
Yes.
You go past like the third Dunkin' Donuts, and there's Mypos.
Right there. It's right there.
I think.
Oh man. So let me ask you. 281 was this last weekend. We obviously saw, you know, there was 2 and news that happened. Were you surprised by either one of the and news? And, you know, what was kind of your takeaway from both of the title fights?
I was not surprised about War Waylay. I mean, I had that. I'm surprised she won by submission. Let me put it that way. I mean, her striking, she had such a clear advantage in the striking that I'm actually kind of surprised she wanted to play around the ground so much. But she looked good. She was a stronger fighter. I mean, I'm not like huge on Esparza. I recognize that like her run's been like, you look at her record and like she's fought everybody. So like right. I give her kudos. Weili Zhang just looks like such an animal. And then in the main event, yeah, I mean, I admit it, I'm surprised. I didn't actually. I was down like over 5 units on the undercard. Yes. I didn't add any bets, and then I swept everything to get to the main event to pull like a miraculous up 1.5 units. Oh. I'm like, man, I'm not touching the main event. I'm just not going to bet it. I'm good. I'll watch it as a fan. You know, it's a good fight when you have no money on it and you're nervous the whole fight. Like any one shot could have knocked either one out. I thought Izzy looked pretty good. I'm surprised the result. I'm more surprised that both of them attempted takedowns. Like, I mean, I actually had said as a fun prop, Izzy by submission at 14-1 would be interesting because I wondered if he would take that approach against Pereira, who hasn't shown good defense. But then Pereira goes for a takedown at the end of the round. I'm like, okay, like, all right. So that was interesting. Now, do I think Bo Nickel is going to be the champion sooner or later? Yeah, Bo Nickel is going to come in. Maybe I'm just biased being from PA, but
no, man.
But I was surprised. And the stoppage was fine. I didn't have a problem with that. He was getting rocked. Anybody that was upset at it, like initially, probably had money on Izzy, and I understand that. If you went back and watched it, I think it was, you know, he might have been 1 or 2 shots away from going down, but he wasn't defending. But I'm surprised that Pereira had the energy in the 5th round. Let me put it that way.
I was shocked by that too. I thought he did a great job managing energy. I mean, he weighs in at 185, walks to the cage at like 213. He's nothing but solid muscle. I'm thinking this guy's going to gas. Like 3rd round, Izzy can pour it on. We're looking at maybe a 4 or 5 stoppage, if that. But what interests me with a guy like Izzy, and we see with Usman as well. Do you think that the formula of like win the belt and then kind of just fight not to lose it is starting to, I guess, maybe erode a little bit? Because both of those guys for a while have been guilty of just fighting not to lose so much as fighting to win, which is, even though I hate him, not something we ever have to worry about with John Jones. He tries to cripple and maim you while he's in there.
Right.
So I think that just kind of caught up with Usman, and then ultimately caught up with Izzy as well, just fighting not to lose.
It's a longer trend too, though. I mean, you know, we love GSP, but he was starting to do it too at the end of his run. You know, but the thing is it just they're not challenged anymore? Like, you can bank the first 3 rounds, and then you know, like, the guy can't touch you. Like, you just fight. You know, you're going to win. You take a decision. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Floyd Mayweather, but you go back and watch, like, early in his career, he was knocking dudes out. He had power. The one fight against Ricky Hatton, the guy, Ricky Hatton knocked him down, and he's like, "Oh, you're fucking dead, dude." Like,
yeah.
And then you see a boxer where you're like, "All right, now I understand why people like revere his skill set." But the last couple of years of Mayweather, it's the same thing. He banks the first 8 rounds. He knows the guy can't touch him. He's like, "All right, win by decision." So, yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, like, mentally what changes. I mean, it takes you so, like, some of these guys, like, it didn't take them that long to get to the top of the mountain.
Right.
I mean, Adesanya had how many fights before he won the title? I'm obviously he had a kickbox. I'm not saying like he just debuted.
No, I get it.
But sometimes, you're not a guy who took 25, like a guy like like Bisping, who took 30 some fights, where like you finally got like some of these dudes haven't, like, they get title shots like pretty much immediately in their run, like they're already on that trajectory, and you wonder if just in the middle of their title reign they're like, what's next? I mean, so
you're not Brock Lesnar winning the heavyweight championship at 4-1 is what you're
saying. But also, he also was, much like what I think they're doing with like Khamzat, and what they're doing with like, and to a lesser extent, Bo Nickel. Not to keep bringing them up, but they're taking these guys. That have this like, this skill set where they're just maulers. I mean, like maulers they may not have the most refined striking, but their hands are so goddamn strong that like, just like a glancing shot hurts.
Yes. Yeah.
So bad that I think they're trying to fast track these just behemoths. And I mean, look, are you going to tell Brock no?
No, I'm not telling him anything.
No, not yet. Nope. Good luck.
I'm not telling him anything. I'm not telling his daughter anything. I don't know if you've seen her. She looks just like him. And I'm definitely not telling his old lady anything either. Yeah,
well, she's a Wawa.
What, Sable?
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about a dirty, rotten cheater, Michael Chandler.
Oh, no, the fish hooks.
The fish hooks were
bad.
He
cost me a shoey, so like I'm no fan of his now.
I know the shoey thing was one thing, but the fish hooks were something else, man. That was
gross.
bad. That was pretty bad.
And Poirier is not like known to be some whiny cheater. Like, he's not known to like cause discourse. And he was talking to the ref between rounds. He's like, "Hey man, and then after the fight, and he was, you could tell he was fucking furious, like after the fight. And I think he's just the kind of dude. He's like, "Look, man, I don't want to." He's like, "I already hate one guy.
Yeah.
Like I can't have another guy that I hate. Like, shake your hand, we're done."
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Chandler really, like, I watched enough of Chandler's fights in my life to not really think this is a pattern, but then again, Bellator, like, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They like they would catch that on camera.
Well, what I don't understand is if you watch the slow-mo of it, Big Dan's like looking right at their, like, when it's happening. And then I'm watching the fight with my brother, we're doing like the group chat thing, and he's like, "What is Big Dan's purpose if he's going to watch him fishhook and then do nothing about it?" That makes no sense to me.
Maybe it would have led to we could have had a submission by fishhook, which would have been,
which would have been awesome.
Look, when you're betting a shoey, I don't give a shit how he wins.
That's true. You just
I don't care if he wins by like if that finger was in a different hole. I wouldn't give a shit. Wouldn't matter to me.
I mean, I think he's oil checked somebody before. I believe that was a thing. Didn't he oil check Oliveira?
I think so.
Wasn't that a thing? I think he did oil check him.
Hey, the good news out of all this is now it looks like Chandler and Alvarez are going to run back a fight. And look, it's one of those fights. Doesn't have to be for anything. It's for us. That fight's for us, and I'm here for it. Like, Chandler, every fight he had, he's like Gaethje. He's like, every fight, no matter how many losses he had before, he's one fight away from being like, "Well, I should get a title shot."
Yeah, absolutely.
He can't possibly. Well, I'm sure he could, but he can't possibly think that after beating Eddie Alvarez. But I think it would be a great fight. Alvarez, maybe. I mean, Chandler should probably win that fight at this point.
Eddie's pretty washed at this point, I would think. One more thing about Michael Chandler. How about him spitting that placenta like glob into Poirier's mouth, bro?
He's just, look, man, I can't justify anything he's doing. So I'm just not going to say what I was going to say, but just some people get in that mindset, like we'll be friends later, and like there's just no rules. But can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah, go for it, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think the second round was a 10-8?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
I think just the sheer dominance of the position, right? I think it's one thing to control, right? Like we talk about control, but I think there's dominance in the control. And even though I believe that Dustin Poirier's skin is made out of the same material as a turtle shell, he inflicted more damage while having dominant control, not just control like octagon control, not just positional control. He was controlling Dustin Poirier's body, neck cranks, the whole. I mean, he put it on him for the better half of 5 minutes. So
he did. Yeah. He did have almost half a minute submission. I mean, whether or not like notwithstanding how he almost procured it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you that it was a 10-8, and I think that I was laughing that oh shit, we may get a draw, and like, what the hell am I going to do?
Yeah.
Like, what's the shoey bet now? Like, how does that work? But I will say this: I had a bet on Chandler plus 180. I didn't take him by KO because honestly, times I've been burned by like a bet like that where you're like, oh yeah, well, I'll just get greedy, and it's like, and I'll tell you what, I'd probably take that bet every day of the week, the way it played out, because even in the third round, the idea was right to get it to the ground.
Correct.
Poirier saw it coming, slipped on top, and that was all she wrote. I mean, Chandler was pretty gassed at that point, but it's not like he got dominated. Like, I mean, Poirier probably won 3 minutes of the 12 minutes in that fight, but every second he won of those 3 minutes was like fucking lethal. Like, it was just...
Did they release the scorecards? Like, did we see the judges' scorecards going into that?
I don't know.
Sometimes they do.
I don't know. I had no like aside from the bet and the shoey, I didn't have like heavy investment, and I lost. So I'm like, all right, let's just next. Let's move on. I don't need to dwell. If I won, I would have put the poster next to Balky.
Oh, very nice. All right. So last thing before we get into
and why is somebody in chat? This is the second time in like 2 weeks somebody said I look like Chiesa, and like,
really?
if he was winning his last couple of fights, like, that's great. Mm-hmm. But he's kind of like shitty now. So I'm like, oh man, that's like I don't know, man. I'm not taking it as an insult. I've been called worse today. So like, I'm not insulted. It's
right.
Yeah, I'm a bro, you're a bro, we're all bros. Is that what Chiesa says? I don't know. This is your fault. You knew what you were
last thing about the I know. We got last thing on this Chandler fight, that when he spit that blood sack or whatever that was into his face, the only thing I could think of, and it's fitting because you're here as well, that scene in Fight Club where he's like, "You don't know where I've been, Lou. You don't know where I've been." When he's spitting that blood all over him. That's
the guy strangely enough, that's the guy I get compared to the most physically.
Oh, okay.
People tell me I remind him of Ed Norton, not Brad Pitt. Ed Norton. And I'm like,
Fight
really?
Club, Ed Norton.
I think I think it's the mannerisms more than anything else. But
okay.
Stone Chiesa, which is funny because I don't smoke weed. I just drink a lot.
So
it was gross. But we've seen guys wipe blood on each other before. I mean, like, it's
for sure.
It's
the BJ Penn
tactic. Hey man, but like, we're here for it. Like, we're fight fans, and like, you can say whatever you want, gambling, whatever, but like, and we know it's a safer sport than like outsiders that don't watch it. But still, we're fucking here for violence. Like, so we can't be like, violence is awesome, then like, oh no, like, oh no, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's part of the thing. I'm drinking more scotch. Let's go.
Listen, I wish I wish every fight was like a Jim Miller freaking Joe Lozon. I mean, nothing would make me happier.
Can I humiliate myself with this for a second?
Go for it.
Everybody knows I'm like Philly dude. Mm-hmm. That's like I'm more Philly than Paul Felder. That's for goddamn sure. Because I'll tell you where to get a real cheesesteak, unlike him.
Wow.
But I had a huge bet on the Astros before. Oh, it's Talisker. I didn't screw around with this one. This is the sorry, I got a glare. It's Talisker. I had the Astros to win the World Series. DraftKings offered me, like, because I'm a degenerate tier, like we split $500,000, like whoever picked the Astros. I did not win $500,000. I won a lot less than that. But I didn't think the Astros are playing my Phillies, so I'm like, fuck. Like, I can win a lot of money on the Astros, or my team can win.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, it's enough money where, like, I'm, sorry, Phil's, like, next year. So I'm literally, so this is what I purchased out of my win. I'm like, you know what? I'm justifying buying a nice bottle of scotch, and sorry, Phil's.
It's a fair consolation prize, though, to be honest.
Thanks for getting me there, assholes.
Yeah. I mean, if nothing else, dude, Bryce still has amazing hair, so you're doing just fine.
Like, do they care about me?
No, not at all.
So
they don't care about you at all, buddy.
You know who cares about me? The Houston Astros cared about me. Pepperidge Farms cares about me.
Pepperidge Farm remembers, man.
They remember that. It was a couple weeks ago. I would hope they remember, unless they have early onset Alzheimer's. No,
bro, they remember. They always remember. and the internet remembers. Pepperidge Farm, the internet, everybody remembers. So yeah, it's all good. All right, so we'll move away from 281 real quick. Let's get into UFC Fight Night. Lewis versus Spivak.
We're starting that. Yeah.
I mean, we have to at a certain point. I will say this. This is not my favorite card. This is not my favorite one, and I've yet to hear your opinion on this. So I apologize if you've gone deep into the weeds on this before. How do you feel about these Apex cards each and every weekend? I find it great as a fan who loves combat sports, but some of these cards, man, it's hard for me to roll out of bed in the morning and get excited for the whole thing, top to bottom. Some of the fights, obviously.
Well, I still love it, and one of the reasons is the Monk Matician, my Friday happy hour partner on the MMA Engine, by the way, is a big. So he's a DFS player.
Yes,
and look, I'd screw around with DFS before I got into content. Fine, but not like too much. But the people that I work with, like over this last year, like Brady and Wheezy and Monk, and then like talking to like some of the other people in the community, like Kyle Marley is another one to name drop. But these guys that play hardcore DFS have got me to where, I don't care. Like, even if it looks like a crappy card, I can look at it like I don't like. There's like we're going to talk about like these fights, and I don't have a lot of bets right now,
right?
But I have a lot of angles from a DFS perspective that makes me interested. Like, and I don't want to spoil any of them yet. Like, we're going to get to it, but sometimes you can look at a fight where you're like, I'm not thrilled about betting the fight at the line, but I'm thrilled about his takedown equity. So there's a different angle there for me to like these kind of cards. Now, this one starts at 1:00. This is great because now I can have, for me, I'm a big soccer fan, which we're going to talk about at the end because you're going to let me shell this. But I get soccer at like 7:30 a.m.
Right.
I get that in the morning. And then it's like, awesome. Now I got fights. Like, soccer's done. Like, now I got fights. Like, it's great. Like, so I love it as a gambler. I love it as a fan of the sport. And honestly, the one fight card we had where it was all finishes like a month and a half ago.
Right.
You never know because the sport's so crazy. So yeah, even like it's the whole bad pizza is still good pizza kind of thing. Like, but as a content creator, I will tell you this, I am really glad to have a break next week.
Yes, 100%. So here's I've narrowed down what it is that I don't like about them. It's the lack of the crowd. I'm okay with any of these cards if they're in Omaha,
like Albuquerque,
Boston. Where I don't care where. I just want people yelling. That's what it is. I want to hear the crowd, regardless. That's what I want.
I hear you.
So that's my.
What's
taken
your
me
favorite,
a long time to get there.
What's your favorite UFC Albuquerque moment of all time? Do you have one? I have one. Do you?
I'm trying to think. So what was the last Albuquerque card? We had somebody that was on that. Actually, I think. Oh my gosh, who did I interview for that card? Condit wasn't on that, was he? Did Condit fight?
I don't know. He might have. Tybura did, I think.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Was that when Condit fought freaking Max Griffin?
Your boy Boston Bruce is right. Boston really does deserve a UFC card.
Yeah, I think what they've had
My
like
favorite
3 total.
is Ishihara winning his fight and then telling the crowd, "Where are my
Where
Salt Lake City bitches?"
where are my bitches at? That's
And
right.
then like that was his whole interview. They're like, well, "Who do you want to fight next?" He's like, "I don't care. I want
But
lady whore party."
yeah, yeah.
And then he posts later and he's like, "I found my bitches." And like, and then the next time he fought, he got kicked in the balls like 4 times.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, well, that's fun."
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that's my favorite Albuquerque moment. I just want to let you know that.
I appreciate that. I'm struggling to remember an Albuquerque card outside of that one. Okay. So let's get into this. I'm sure you're already aware. I do the main card, then do the prelims.
Yes,
which is weird.
I've actually watched the show because
Yeah, I know.
we are kins.
I appreciate that. All right, let's get it rock and rolling. Jack Della Maddalena at 12-2, Danny Roberts at 18-6. Money line wise, you're looking at unbettable Maddalena at a -550, Roberts plus 400 over on rounds 1.5. I mean, I'm in the camp where I think Maddalena is probably one of the future stars of the division. I would imagine so. He's got all the tools necessary. At least it looks like it on paper. I mean, maybe a little susceptible, possibly somebody with a stronger submission game. He was in a bad spot his last time out, even though he got the finish. He was in a weird spot for a while. Don't think Danny Roberts is going to present that sort of issue to him. I think knockout's probably the play here. I think they're going to stand and box, and Maddalena is going to do what he does best. We'll got him to the big show. Give me the Aussie, oi, oi, oi.
Yeah, I mean, not trying to like cheat, not like trying to cheat on analysis here, but Danny Roberts looked. How bad did he look against Trinaldo? And I love Trinaldo. There's not a knock on Trinaldo.
Yeah.
But that was a winnable fight. And Trinaldo 10-8'd him in that second round. I mean, he looked bad. Anders, and I love Eric Anders because his nickname's your boy. I love him.
Yeah.
But I mean, he looked bad against Anders twice. So this is just UFC saying look what they've given Jack Della. They gave him Pete Rodriguez, who
can.
They give him, and then Amiv, which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is more of a challenge.
100%.
But then this is here, just they're throwing a mistake.
This is a star builder. That's what this is. This is a star builder. They need I'm okay with the UFC building people up the way they build boxers up. Give him winnable fights where he looks fantastic. Yeah, build him up.
When we were younger, well, again, I'm from the
we're close
40s.
enough. Go.
I'm from the 40s, but all wrestling was in the 80s was dude against scrub, against jobber.
Yeah.
With the whole remember Kamala?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the whole idea was he's going to wrestle for 2 minutes. He's going to fat guy splash him off the top rope. It's going to be fucking hilarious. And then a month later, he can fight Hulk Hogan in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
You build these dudes up against scrubs. When they re-signed Chase Sherman, and I know we're going to get to him too, but people were so upset. I'm yeah, but you kind of need guys like that.
You
need guys and now Vandera is the new Chase Sherman, where Vandera is the dude they feed, but you kind of need guys to be fed, to make other guys look good. It's the way of the world, man. So is hot chocolate, because you can say this. Could you justify Roberts getting cut? If he got cut after that fight, it wouldn't be a surprise. You wouldn't feel like it was unjust.
Yeah.
So here's your punishment. We'll extend your they did it with Chase Sherman. They said, here, we're going to bring you back. Can you fight Romanoff on short notice? He did. Okay, but then what happened? Sherman's probably made, how much more money has he made since then?
Right.
$200,000?
Sure.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing. But
no, I mean, he's made money.
He won a fight. He has a 3rd round finish. So Eric made $100,000 off betting him round 3 because Eric's a savage. But sometimes you just need guys like that in the division. And I think that Danny Roberts is, again, being served up on a platter here. So Jack Della, I think I'm very curious as to how high this guy can go because, man, he's fun to root for, isn't he?
Yes, he is. I love the nose being on the wrong side of the face. I love just the...
Yeah, he's been in bar brawls.
100%.
He's been in tons of bar brawls.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel a weird... It's very 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon sense of kinship to him. because one of my deep dark secrets, and it's not that secret because I tell everybody about it, is there's this Australian MMA podcast, which maybe you don't know about, called the Run It Back podcast. It's
I thought James ran everything over there. Lucrative MMA. I thought he had to approve.
No. So the Run It Back boys, they had Jack on their show where Jack was I don't want to say he was anything, but before he was doing much. So he's like part of their alumni, and I love them, and I've been on their show, and they put on a great program. So I like seeing Jack win because it's like it's their dude. You know what I mean? So I like that. You can get Jack KO TKO at -170, which I think is way more palatable at -550.
I'm probably gonna play him. If DraftKings, they haven't really put these out yet, but when they do the same game plays, they usually do like fighter to win under 1.5 rounds. I'll take a look at that. If it's anything less than -200, because honestly, every time like the fluke sub could be there.
Yeah.
Look, when I say the sub, I'm talking like this is 3%.
Yeah.
But if you give me the time prop with it and then give me a good price, I may lean toward that. His in the distance at -225 is like safe, but give me a good price, man. Like,
what do you think about DraftKings implementing the late swap? Are you a fan of that or no?
No,
You're not.
Okay, at all. And I'll tell you, I've been on both ends of this where there's been a couple times a fight was canceled after the card started, so the lineups have completely locked. And I've been on both sides. The Jeremy Stevens fight getting canceled. This is earlier in the year. Might have been last year. I can't remember at this point. I think it was earlier in the year. I had none of that, so I loved it. And then there was another fight where I had like 90% of it, and I'm like, fuck.
Right.
I think the way they should do it is if a fighter gets labeled as out, as if a fight gets canceled after the card started, make it available.
Okay.
The problem you have now is the guys that do this professionally, the guys that play 150 lineups to win $1 million, are going to they're going to be the ones sitting there with 3 fights left saying, I can do this in a way to guarantee I lock up like the top spots. And it's 2 problems. Number one, it gives people a competitive advantage that, it deters others from playing lineups. And number 2, the whole point is it's nice to just set it and forget it. Build your lineups. I don't like doing watch-alongs. Strangely enough, I'm going to do one this Saturday with Patrick and the boys. I don't typically like doing watch-alongs because I feel like we work hard all week with content and all the stuff that we do to get to fight week. So I just want to watch it with my friends and like kind of disconnect and enjoy and troll Twitter with like talks of yam bags and shit.
Yeah.
And like enjoy my life. So I think this is going to take away from that. I think people are just going to be like fidgeting the whole time, like fucking with their lineups. And the cause and effect is going to be that I think single entry lineups on DraftKings are going to become like a way more massive thing now, because people are going to say like, fuck it, I can't compete with these dudes firing at like $1,800 worth of lineups to win $1 million. Like I can't compete anymore in those tournaments. Like I can't. So I think single entries are going to become so much bigger, and that's going to be the trickle down effect here. But I'd be curious to see what you're like. What do you think? Are you a big DFS guy or?
I was. So when DFS first came out, I was in. I was like, yeah, I can do this because like I've got an idea on, MMA gambling as a whole when it first started rolling was kind of like there was those in the know and those who weren't at all, and there were some spots to make some money. So I did it for a while, and then I had a very bad DraftKings customer service experience, and then I stopped doing it for a long time.
I don't blame you.
I had the Romero Jacare card. I played a $250 lineup there. It was to win, like top prize was $250,000.
Yeah, you played the big boy.
Yeah, and that contest was wiped after like the 4th fight because they forgot to like lock it so you could change up until like the 2nd fight.
That's gross. That's gross.
Yeah. So here's the kicker is I came in 2nd place.
For what, like 25,000 or some shit? Oh,
yeah.
God.
So I'm calling my wife. She's at work. She's a night shift nurse, and I'm calling her like, "Honey, we made it. Like, your boy made some money. Like, we're good. This is great." And then they hit the thing where the gate, like the lineups just like disappear and it's not updating anymore.
Ugh.
And then I reach out to them and they're like, they put out a whole statement on it and the whole nine, and then they just gave us tickets to re-enter a new one. And I'm like,
terrific, because that's what you want.
Yeah, no, that's I want more tickets, please.
I should have given you 100 tickets that would cost $250 at the very least. I should have given you 25, at the very least.
Yeah,
but
that was I mean, that was
that would deter me. That would deter me from. Can you do prize picks where you are?
No.
I can't either, but like I kind of like that concept because you're not competing against anybody but yourself, but yet it's the concept of DFS in terms of like, because it's funny, who I joked about last week with Monk? I'm like, who's going to break the slate and I'm going to hate it because 1% of people are going to own him. Mike Trezano is going to break the slate.
Right.
Now, not really thinking he's going to win first round knockout, but I'm like, watch Trezano go under owned and break the slate. And then sure enough, he did it. And I'm like,
right.
I already know who's going to break the slate this week, but we'll get to that one.
And what I just love how he comes out and fights completely unlike how he normally fights. It just that blows my mind. But
there's nothing like when tape isn't what happens. And that's actually a very big theme of the undercard on this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Next fight, Muslim Salikov at 18-3 taking on Andre Filo. Filo at 16-5. This is a weird spot for me. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm back and forth on this one.
Me too.
Minus 116, minus 115. Muslim. Might as well for all intents and purposes, it's a freaking pick 'em, man. Over on rounds at 1.5. I'll let you go first, buddy. What do you think here?
I think I'm contrarian here completely.
Okay.
And that I like the over.
Okay.
And over 1.5 at minus 175. It's juiced. Oh, well, hold on. The plus over 2.5 plus 105. Salikov fights in general, like, all right, like I know the Leech like crushed them. Like I get it.
Yeah.
But Salikov in general is like calculated, like he's kind of an assassin. Like he kind of like picks his spots well, his movement's good. Even at his age, his movement's really good. Fialho is the opposite. He didn't give a shit about movement. His movement is one direction. He's moving toward you. Now, Fialho, if you look at his tape, he does well against guys that will give him his fight. So Cameron Van Camp like rocked him. It's like, yeah, he did because Fialho doesn't. Because Fialho was like, there's no way this fool's putting me down.
Right. Yeah.
So Van Camp gave him the fight he wanted. Baeza, who everybody loved Baeza as a prospect, but Baeza gave him that firefight.
Yeah.
Jake Matthews was smarter, a little smarter. But I don't think any of those fights are how it's going to play out. I look at the Pereira fight where Pereira, look, I know we say he does goofy stuff, but Pereira's kind of been a lot more serious in his approach. But watch Pereira in that fight. He danced around. I don't mean danced. I mean, but like,
no, he skirted.
He fought. He was hitting him a lot, but stayed out of the range of Fialho. And I think Salikov, especially coming off a knockout, is going to fight that kind of fight. I think he's going to frustrate Fialho. I think he's going to dance around him. I think he's going to land a lot of jabs. I think his movement's going to be better. I don't care that Fialho is younger. His movement is terrible. It's not going to get better as he gets older. Like him being younger, while we're at it, this whole age myth, and this isn't just because I'm old. We're in an era where like being in your late 30s isn't a big deal as an athlete anymore.
Right.
Like it's not. It's sports science. But more importantly, I mentioned boxing before. One of my favorite boxers is Bernard Hopkins. Yeah. This dude was fighting at the highest level in his late 40s.
Yeah.
It's because he might have been in jail, but
he
may have been not unconfirmed. He may have been in jail. But my point is I don't think your age is the issue more than the mileage. Hopkins didn't have that boxing mileage at that age.
Right.
So him fighting at 49, living a clean living life isn't a big deal. So for me, like Fialho, yeah, he's in his 20s, but like I've seen dudes sitting at the end of the bar that look worse. Like,
yeah.
And Salikov, he's almost 40, but he's one of these It's fucking ageless Russians, man. Like they drink vodka, they smoke, they're fine. They're like, all right. Half of them played for the Flyers. Like, I know this. Like, they just don't, there's gonna be shit. I think Salakov's gonna be fine coming off a knockout. I think he's gonna dance around. I think I'm just gonna take him outright here. And the thing is yeah, you're clenching your butt cheeks like with guys like this, but again, look at the guys that Fialio's knocking out. He's knocking out dudes that like put themselves within 2 feet of him to throw his Mr. Potato Head arms.
Right.
Like, I think Salakov will like Salakov kept his distance well against the Leech. The Leech just was like on a mission.
Yeah, he was possessed, man possessed.
Like he really was like, because he lost the first round.
Yeah.
And then he got inside the distance. I don't know that I trust Fialio to make those changes mid-fight. So give me Salakov. And if you want to get like really saucy, I feel like Salakov decision, like, well, it's plus 240. I don't like that.
I think my thing with him is he throws too much spinny shit. Next thing you know, he throws like a spinning, like.
I love that you say spinny shit. I say this all the time, so I'm glad somebody else is using that term.
Yeah, and he throws it, hits him, kicks him in the body or something, sends Fiallo scrambling backwards. We get like a freaking David Luazzo style body kick situation, dude. I can't risk that, right? I can't risk that.
I don't blame you.
So I think you nailed it here with the movement. My concern is, maybe a little bit smaller with the apex. Hopefully Muslim can navigate that, that little bit smaller of a cage. But if, like you said, everybody that has given Andre fits has been somebody that moves well. And the moment he can pin you and get you fighting off your back off the cage, or he can get in distance, then he has issues. People forget, Pepperidge Farm remembers, James Vick was given Andre fits before Andre knocked him out. Yeah. James Vick was giving Andre fits before Andre knocked him out. And how was he doing? He was moving, circling away from the power and pumping the jab. Now, Muslim
until he stopped.
Until he stopped, and then everything stopped, right? The whole night stopped. So one of the things I guess would be, my concern with Muslim is he's not very high output. So is he going to create the deterrent to keep Andre thinking and off of him while he's trying to come in? He can't just rely on his footwork. He's got to throw something in conjunction. I love what you said about Bernard Hopkins, the alien himself. That's your Philly coming out for sure. But I mean, like Andre or like Bernard would say, and has said, it's not my job to create an exciting fight. It's my job to not get hurt. And that's how he fought. He won. He's like, I will beat you. It's not my job to knock you out. It's not my job.
But if he was losing in a fight, then he's like, but he knew mid-fight, he's like, now I have to go knock. Like the only way I can win is by knocking him out.
Yeah, this is great. That's great.
That's all you want.
Right. I'm on Muslim here as well. I mean, he also used to be Kung Fu Panda, and he switched it to the King of Kung Fu.
They're still great. They're still great names. Though.
They are, but if you start with an animal, stay with an animal.
Who's more of a Kung Fu Panda, him or Jack Black? Or Pedro Sandoval on the San Francisco Giants? Forget about him. Jack Black or him? Who's more of a Kung Fu Panda?
I'll be honest with you. Did you see the video of Jack Black and Wonder Boy hanging out, and he's showing Wonder Boy how to kick?
Yeah.
Did you see how high up he got his leg? I was impressed. Impressed.
Is he the national treasure?
I love Jack Black. I really do.
I do. By the way, that's one of my favorite karaoke songs to do. Because like everybody's gonna go do like "Fuck Her Gently" or whatever, but like Wonder Boy is just so good.
It's so good. Yeah.
Plus, if somebody at the bar is named Kyle, they're getting humiliated.
Absolutely.
But Kyle over here.
when the Pick of Destiny came out, dude, that was like,
it's so good.
That was
when like here we were talking about like the Phillies before, like somebody made this video like for Cliff Lee, and it to Lee. Right. And they'd play it like in the parking lot before the games. And Cliff Lee came out one time and he's like he loved it. He's like, Lee. Like he's like, all right, I'm in. Like all the dude wanted was to be loved. All he wanted was to be like, please tell me I'm better than Roy Halladay. Like, just please tell me. Just and we're like, we love you. Like we love you, Cliff Lee. And he's like, yes.
Thank you. He went home and like texted his mom. He's like, they really like me.
He probably went up to her in the stadium because I think she was at every game that he played.
There you go. All right, next fight. Chase Sherman, your boy, taking on Waldo Cortez Acosta. Chase Sherman at 16-10. Yeah, that's a real record. Cortez Acosta Oh, I'm going to be honest with you just before we get too far into this one. Let me get this pulled back up here. Chase Sherman, obviously an underdog. Justifiably so here. Waldo, I bet blindly last time we fought. I did not know who this man was.
Against Bandera.
Going into the event. You know me, I'm not a big tape study guy. Yeah. I'm not a big tape study guy. I just watch every fight, and that just be how I remember it in my mind is how the tape rolled. So that was really kind of I bet that blindly. And yeah, everybody told me he was going to murder Bandera, and Bandera proved to be a little bit tougher than that. So I will defer to your better judgment here because I know how good Chase Sherman is. And I know what I just saw with this Waldo Cortez Acosta. I think Chase Sherman deserves a little bit more respect here, considering what I just saw from Waldo. Am I wrong?
I think Chase Sherman's the side here, and he's one of my favorite bets, strangely enough.
Thank you. That's all I needed because I'm looking at it thinking the same thing.
So, fuck.
Just let it go.
Just give me a second.
Let it out, man.
I'm gonna need this for
no.
For Chase Sherman. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of this. No. So, why is Chase Sherman the side here? Well, he had a fight camp scheduled, so he's still been in camp because he probably knew they were going to just get a replacement. Costa fights 3 weeks ago. I taped the Costa for the Tenor series with Brady. And Brady, who is so underrated, goddamn funny, says, oh my goodness, there's this fight. And when Brady starts out a breakdown like that, I'm here for it.
Right.
He throws every punch I know he was a pitcher. I know he pitched previous to getting into boxing and getting MMA.
Mm-hmm.
He throws every punch like he's throwing a baseball 300 yards from right field. Like he does.
Right.
He has ill-timed, in every fighting game, you have a button that does the fighter taunt.
Yes.
He hits the button too much. He was doing it against Bandera. Bandera would kick him 4 times and he hit the taunt button. And
Yeah.
Why are you hitting the button?
Yes.
He just
yes.
So now here's my actual real concern with and why I like Sherman as a side here. Sherman has momentum. I can't believe I'm saying this, but probably more belief than he's had in a while. But more importantly, on the Acosta side, he got leg kicked a lot, and that doesn't recover in 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So he hasn't had a full camp training. He's coming off leg kicks. And look, how many people have we seen take fights on short notice that dominated? Look at Lupe Godinez.
I love Lupe.
Dominated in a minute, but fought the next week. Short notice fight, fighting 2 fights within a month, unless you're Chris Lieben or whatever, it doesn't work. It's the body, just the toll it takes on your body. Now, Chase Sherman, I look at him, and this guy's carved from Mount Olympus. He's the exception to the rule. But more importantly, he didn't fight 3 weeks ago, bro.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Can Sherman go out there and this is going to sound weird, but here's the last piece I'll say about this. Bandera went the distance with Acosta. So not only did Acosta fight 15 minutes, but Bandera won the 3rd round. Did he show Sherman a path here?
Yeah. Yes.
Because anybody who's going to blindly bet Acosta for this fight they're not betting it because they think Acosta is a good fighter. They're betting against Chase Sherman. And I hate betting negatives. I don't like doing it that way. Yet here we are with this fucking fight. But I think Sherman probably watched the tape and said, okay, this guy's susceptible to leg kicks. And Sherman throws leg kicks.
Yeah.
Why can't he hurt him in the first round with leg kicks? I'll tell you right now, you'll know your bet wins or loses. If he ain't throwing a leg kick in the first 2 minutes, rip the ticket up.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Toast.
I was going to say in the first minute, you got 1 minute. If he doesn't come out and touch the leg in the first minute, and then honestly, the only thing that really concerns me about Chase Sherman is hand positioning while throwing leg kicks. He is notoriously hands low, forehead forward, and I don't like that at all. Because that could, to your point about Waldo being a pitcher, that could just be
terrible.
It could just look like a catcher's mitt.
That Contender Series fight, he should not have gotten a contract.
No.
If heavyweight wasn't so shitty,
oh my
I'm telling you, because he took forever to put away a guy with no movement.
Yeah. I'm glad you're on Chase Sherman. This is the side for me here.
Don't let Eric know. Don't tell Eric I'm betting Chase Sherman.
Oh, I'm sure. Listen, Eric will find out soon enough.
He's not letting me live it down that he bet Sherman round 3, like last fight out. And I'm like, God, like he won round 3, and like part of me is happy for Eric.
Yeah.
But the majority of me is miserable because I know I'm never like, and Eric is not a shit talker.
No.
You know, Eric. He
Yeah.
doesn't, he's like the nicest fucking dude.
Yeah.
But I have a way of bringing that out in people to not be so nice. And
yeah.
And I know he's like, remember when I bet Chase Sherman round 3? I'm like, yeah. Because I was like, oh, Sherman's gonna die. I'm like, Sherman's gonna die in the first round.
Dude.
So whoops.
I mean, that's pretty tame. I don't know if you caught all the shit talking I did on Beneil Dariush going into the Gamrot fight. But I mean, I did essentially everything but name my next child Mateusz Gamrot going into that fight, and the dude let me down tenfold. So yeah, it was bad.
I think Benny. I got a buddy who's like a huge Dariush fan, namely because he asked for the Tesla, which I think was pretty funny.
Yeah,
but I was with you. I was big on the Gamrot side there. Like I really was, and Dariush. It's weird that like I always bet him as an underdog before,
right.
And I didn't this time. I just believed this is a bad matchup. So I was there. I lost that one too. But it's hard to feel bad. I like Dariush, man. Like I root for him.
Yeah.
Like he's never, I don't even know if he's ever gonna get a title shot.
Yeah.
He's gonna always be like close, but not there.
Yeah. Oh, here, this is what I love. This freaking thing right here. Also shout out whenever you faded Jeff Neal. You're right. I was on Luque big. You're absolutely right. Thank you. Thank you, Austin, for bringing in yet another one of my very highly confident losses. So I appreciate that.
I was well, he can call me out too because I thought Luque was gonna fucking murder him.
Yeah, I did too. That's what I said. Luque is gonna.
I'm like, it's a revenge. It's like a get right. I thought it was a get right fight.
That's 100% how I. That's
well.
How
in all fairness, Jeff Neal, his last couple of fights was hanging out with like Keith, no nonsense, bad Scotch Peterson.
Yeah,
like fucking smoking cigarettes, like talking about weird shit. Like, hey man, I was wrong. You know, like
yeah.
But yeah. Luque's on the no bet list right now.
100%. We have another fighter on this card that's on my no bet list, and we're getting ready to talk about him. Iwan Kutalaba taking on Kennedy and Jekwe. Iwan is firmly on my no bet list, and it pains me to say that because there's nothing I love more than a good Caucasus Mountain warrior, and that's just not. I can't do that anymore. So let me pull up that banner real quick. Let's see here. Oh, there he is, producer Jake.
There's a new fight announcement if you want to have a laugh before you break it down.
Okay. Yeah, what do you got?
Gustafsson out. Oven St. Preux will now fight Felipe Lins.
Felipe Lins, yeah.
Neat. Here's my reaction to that. Neat.
Yeah. yeah. Cool, man. Cool. You get no action OSP.
That's on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That's on a fucking pay-per-view.
Oh,
that fight.
Yeah. It won't
why do they hate us with like, why are they like, you will like heavyweight?
No, they'll adjust that.
You demand heavyweight and you will get. That'll be the main card.
There's no way they can't.
They'll be like, well, we got to have one heavyweight fight on the main card because the people love it.
People love the big boys. That's exactly what it is. People love the big boys. Yeah, Philippe Lins. Yikes. Another guy that I continually bet and lose money on.
Sorry. The back of the no bet list.
Yeah. So Iwan Kutalaba is sitting right beside Trevin Giles in the no bet list. I cannot understand Iwan Kutalaba. I can't understand him, man. He's an underdog here against Kennedy and Jekwe, but plus 155 come back minus 180 over under 1.5. When he wants to wrestle, Kutalaba is very good, but when he wants to get out there and be the Hulk and try to throw hands, he's terrible. I don't understand. He also has zero submission defense, which I feel like as a wrestler, you should kind of figure out how to tuck your chin just a little bit, which he does not do. I cannot wrap my head around this guy. I'm tired of losing money betting him. When I fade him, he wins, and when I'm on him, he loses. It's tough for me. But also, I think Kennedy and Jekwe is like He's like, to go back to your analogy of video games, when you first create the fighter and you don't have any skill points yet, that's Kennedy and Jekwe. He literally plods forward, jab, straight right, inside leg kick, and that's about it. That's really all he's got. And unfortunately enough, that's probably enough to beat E1, I think.
I would like you to check your Twitter while I break this fight down, because I saved something special for you.
Okay.
In advance of knowing I was going to do the show.
Okay.
Also, I wrote that at 11 a.m. It's timestamped.
Okay.
So enjoy that while I break this down.
Okay.
I don't know what to fucking do with this one either, because he looked great against Roberson, but like Roberson's terrible. Negurumanu, like that was an interesting fight, but like he looks like he's improving fight to fight. You reading it?
Yeah.
So what does it say?
Oh, you want me to read it out loud?
No, just what's the gist of what I asked DraftKings to do for this fight?
Looks like you're asking for them to basically put on a point deduction.
I'm asking them to boost the point deduction
from
20 to 1. But Dale, I don't call it a point deduction, do I?
No, you call it a yam bag special.
If you're watching me for the first time, I bet on point deductions. And in Chukwu against Negurumanu, he is now auto point deduction every time he fights. And who better to take that bet with than Kutayaba, who's like a legit psychopath?
Yes.
There's going to be takedowns. There's going to be eye pokes. There's going to be cage grabs. This will have it all. I may not bet this fight, and I'll tell you why. Like pre-tape, post-tape, I was on Kennedy. I'm like, this seems like Kennedy round 2. That's what it felt like. Like, I can't get past. You could look at every bad performance Kennedy and Chukwu's had in the UFC.
Yeah.
The knockout to Do and Jung is bad.
It's real bad.
Not a good look.
Yeah.
You know what's worse? Johnny Walker submitting you.
Yeah,
is worse. It's way worse. A guy that like had never shown any predilection for the ground. Like Serkinov just ragdolled him.
Right.
And now like ragdolled Walker. Now Walker is like the GOAT of submissions. Like it's a bad look for Kutayaba. I think Kutayaba's cut if he loses.
He has to be.
But that's why but that's this part of me that can't pull the trigger against him. On the flip side, if I bet the under, like Nichols is saying under 2.5 rounds, I agree that it like 95% of the time this should end. I would even shorten it. I would go fight doesn't start third and get a little better odds.
Right.
My gut is telling me this is going to be our, like, the whole community is going to lose bet. Like,
something's going to happen.
That there is, like you are better off going, like, Kutayaba decision or bet the draw. Like, bet the yam bags, bet the draw, and bet, like, just $5 on each and, like, say, look, it's two fucking weirdos that have caught. I think I'm down. My math may be off. I'm down minus 847 units combined on both of these guys. So like I don't even want to
give or take a couple.
Like give or take. I don't think it's off by much. It's probably pretty close. It's probably close. So this is going to be one where like I think I bet like the weird props. Honestly, as a real way to bet it, I would probably do Kutayaba round 1.
Yeah. And
Kennedy round 2. Like, if you wanted to, like, if either situation, because look, if this thing gets to the second round, you're gonna fucking hate your Kutayaba bet.
Yes.
Like, that ticket's gonna be worthless. So you better off just betting him round 1 and the Kennedy ticket round 2. If Kennedy beats him round 1, more power to him, like whatever. But I think it's one or the other. But I don't know, man. I got this like old gambler's instinct saying like bet the draw and bet yam bags and like just fucking sit back and be like, cool, I lost $5 on a ball shot and be cool with it.
Is there anybody that offers a line that you know that says the fight doesn't complete due to an injury?
I wish. Like
this feels like an eye poke that stops a fight.
Well, that's why you bet yam bags, because they probably give you like the point first. But yeah, I don't know, man. I
agree with you. This is two weirdos. That's a great way to put it, man. I can't get on board with it.
Like, do you have access to yam bag bets?
I don't. I have.
You want me to put one in for you?
Yeah.
I'll put $5.
Dude. Okay.
I'll put $5. If it hits, I'll send you $100. Free of charge.
It's the Lou boost. Yeah, I'll vend it.
Well, we call it the Lou rub.
The Lou rub, gotcha. Okay.
I will tell you this right now. If DraftKings, so their response to me was like, we will send this to the promotions team or whatever. And I wrote it back and I said, look, I don't think you understand. This bet's probably not going to hit. You're just going to get like a free $500 for the community.
Yeah.
But I want them to say, if they don't say it's the Lou Betya Yam Bag special, that's fine. If they boost the point deduction, everybody's going to motherfucking know. Everybody's going to fucking know who did it. Like, there's going to be no myth. There'll be no mystery. And this will be my legacy. And I don't have to ever win a bet again in the community to be a legend. And judging by my recent betting record, it's a very distinct possibility. So I'm like thrilled to know that my legacy can be that anytime somebody gets kicked in the balls, my Twitter blows the fuck up.
Do you
got to be good at something in life, right?
Yeah. Do you have any like allegiance to DraftKings? Like if I could get you in contact with a different bookmaker that could put it, would you be okay with that?
I don't give a fuck. The only thing I like about DraftKings is I use BetMGM too. BetMGM sucks. BetMGM sucks for UFC though. They suck. They suck. They don't put their props out till like Friday some days, like Friday late. There's been Friday nights where like the props still aren't out. And when I say props, I mean like over-unders.
Right.
Like they're a bad book for UFC. Bet Rivers, I nuked that account. They're awful. I'm like, close my fucking account. FanDuel, well, I have 6 more weeks and I can be back on FanDuel.
There you go.
I Steam closed my account for a year.
Oh.
I'm like, fuck you guys. Like, and they're like, how long you want to close your account? I'm like, a year.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we take that seriously. I'm like, good. Okay. And I wrote some not so witty rejoinders to their support. But but December like 28th, I can go back. Okay. And I'm not saying the funny thing is though, I don't want to go back for DFS. I don't even really want to go back for a lot of their stuff they offer. But man, some of their submission lines are so bad. Like plus 700 sub on DraftKings could be plus 1200 on FanDuel.
Yeah.
That I want access to it like literally for like weird props. I want access to it for the things that are eventually going to get it nuked for good.
Right.
For hitting those kind of lines. Like,
so I've had I don't know if you know Dave Mason, but Dave Mason.
Of course, Bet Online.
Yeah, of course.
I've had a Bet Online account, no joke, for 16 years.
Yeah. So
they were just poker. When it was just poker,
right.
And like their sports book was minimal. I'm saying is like when I was the only one out of 9,000 Ukrainians and Moldovans playing free rolls, I was like the lone American on their site.
I love it.
It was every final I got to was me against the proletariat bear of Moldova. And in all fairness, this dude fucking killed me heads up every time. He was like, I could never beat this guy, but like literally that was the dude. So I've had an account on Bet Online for so long, I don't remember why I have the screen name I have. Like I don't even know what the reference is.
Right.
Like that's how old my account is. I would love. Hey man, I'd love to talk to Dave Mason, and I imagine.
Okay, so Dave's been on my show before.
Well, he's too busy dealing with like, not me talking shit on Narco, one of my boys. He's too busy with the serious gamblers like Narco and like Caposa and all those guys who are like, oh, do you guys have lines on like, and they make up a bunch of letters and then a number and they're like, oh, that's a real event. And I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, oh shit, that's really an event.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm like, yo, like my neighbors are fighting. Can I have a fucking number? Like, I'll send you video. Like, can you give me like just like line it even and let me pick one? Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't even need like CLV. Just give me fucking. Let me bet this fucking shit. Let me bet a fucking dude. Let me bet a bum to kill another bum, and I'm good. I don't know if Mason can do that, but like
you can't do bum fights anymore.
But if I'm like, no, this is the third time they fought. It's a league now. It's called like CLDFC. Number 3. He's like, oh yeah, no, we have a number.
Yeah, that's
all I need.
If you want it made, Dave's the guy to do it. He entertains everything.
If he looks at how old my account is, he actually probably would be like, oh shit, this okay. Like
I've gone to him with some dumb stuff
account.
before. I've gone to him with some dumb stuff before and been like, hey, can you maybe consider a line for this? And he'll be like, let me see if my guys say there's a market for it. And they're always like, no. So,
Well, I know he's still at the discretion of like, the Olympic gods or whoever the fuck puts the lines out. But like, sorry. But yeah. I mean, obviously like and Powerade, Wawa, Nike, Milk itself. I'm listening. I need sponsors. So milk. I don't mean like a specific kind of milk, just milk.
Yeah. Just
big,
any milk.
Big milk. Come
big
talk
milk.
to me.
Yeah.
I have strong bones. I need calcium.
What was the old phrase? Milk and cones build big, strong bones.
I guess I'm like a midget. I mean, I am not that's my parents' fault.
Not a big, tall guy.
My license says 5'8".
Is that a generous 5'8"?
My license says, like, if I got pulled over, there's a chance I could be arrested for false, identity. No, I'm like 5'7" and 3/4.
Hey man, that's all that matters, bro.
I know, but like a cop's gonna be like, "You're not 5'8", you piece of shit."
Here's where you're wrong. A cop's never gonna say it to you because you don't get out of the vehicle without a lawyer present. So,
well, I don't know. I haven't been in jail in like 12 years, so I hope I don't want to go back.
No, man, you don't have to.
Yeah, my neighbor's an asshole. That's all I have to tell you.
There you go. I believe that.
He got his.
That's right.
You should see the other guy.
You should. What's left of him, right?
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
All right. Main event.
But no joke. My neighbor really is. My new neighbor is really a piece of shit.
I don't doubt that, man. I have neighbors on both sides of my house, and they're way too close to me. I would love to be very far away from everybody.
He's the worst. All right, main event. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's the main event, dude. We're finally going to get there. Who is it? Oh, it's Derek Lewis taking on Sergey Spivak. Derek Lewis plus 170. Dude, the polar bear minus 200. Over under on rounds 1.5. Keep in mind before you say anything at all, Derek Lewis is undefeated in the Apex. Go.
Well, then you're going to like the way I'm betting this. I will not. Skill set for skill set. Yeah, I like Spivak.
Yeah.
I don't know that I like Spivak. Forget about the fact that Lewis is 37. I don't know that I like Spivak as minus 200 against anybody. What was he against Olynyk? I didn't like him as a favorite against Olynyk.
Yeah.
He was like minus 160, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's evolving. I don't care about the Aspinall fight. He took it short notice, and Aspinall is like, look, he's a special talent.
Right.
People are calling him a generational talent. Let's see. He's a special talent. But I'll tell you what, you don't want to fight Aspinall on short notice.
Yeah.
So I don't care about that. But Spivak shouldn't be a massive favorite over anybody yet.
Okay.
He's developing.
Yeah.
So here's how I'm going to, and also, how do you not like Derek Lewis? If you guys, I'm sure anybody watching this has watched Dogger Pass with my guy, Paul Shaughnessy and Cody
CJ.
Sampson.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a progressive parlay guy because I'm too busy doing round robins of like round 3 submissions. But I respect the progressive parlay and I respect the mindset that goes into it. And one of his tenets is you put the main event favorite in the top slot. And then you can always hedge and you can bet the other way.
Right.
And don't have so much pride to be like, well, I think he's going to win. It's not about that anymore. Now you've guaranteed. It's like when you bet one of these Contender Series fights. If you get a guy at like plus 200 odds when it first opens on Bet Online, because they're the ones that do it first, and then the other guy's plus 200 2 days later, you auto bet why would you guarantee yourself you win on a low level fight? Right. Well, let's be honest. This is kind of a weirdly low level fight.
Yeah.
So everybody loves Spivak here. I completely understand it. I think he should win. I think he should get takedowns at will. But Spivak's been hurt. Like, he's been hurt many times, and I don't love his striking defense. So I'm going to do this very simply. I'm going to wait. I'm not betting it pre-fight. And I want to see what kind of number I get on Lewis. I'm never betting Spivak in anything other than a parlay here, other than the hedge out later. I think he's the better fighter. I just don't trust him yet. I need more from Spivak. But what I would trust is Lewis late in a fight, because we've seen him knock dudes out in the 5th round. We've seen it. You know where you don't beat Lewis by just taking him down. His cardio is weirdly good.
It's consistent.
Do you know where you beat Lewis? By hitting him in. He's like King Hippo from Punch Out. You can only hit him in the body. You can never hit him in the face. He blocks it every time. You hit him in the body, you knock him against the ropes, the fight's over. If you hit Lewis, if you go body shots to Lewis, he's done. So if Spivak doesn't go to the body in the 1st round, I don't care if Spivak has 4.5 minutes of control time. If Spivak has not thrown one body shot, and you're giving me plus 500 or better on Lewis, which is not an inconceivable line at all after round 1, I will hammer plus 500 after round 1. I think you have to. Now, if he's hitting him in the body and hasn't gone down yet, I lay off, because that's the way to beat Lewis. The body shots have crushed him. Body shots have just murdered him.
Yeah.
If Spivak is stupid enough to not throw any body shots, then Lewis is super live. And I mean at any round in that fight.
Yeah.
I
can see that.
And look, and I may ladder this shit. Let's say we get to the third. No. Let's say we get to the 3rd round.
Right.
So 10 minutes into this fight, and you're giving me Lewis like plus 1,800 live after 9 minutes of takedowns. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Are you gonna tell me that's an unreasonable number?
No.
Give me 10 to 1's not. Give me a line on a guy who I have seen carry his power in fights he's been dominated in.
Right. To the last 10 seconds of the fight.
Over a guy I've never seen go that long.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, do honestly, do you think Spivak has a plan B here?
I think
he's still a developing fighter. I'm not insulting him. He's still a developing fighter. And most heavyweights don't really peak till they get to Lewis is different. He's peaked. I'm not arguing that he's whatever.
Right.
But this is a super winnable fight. It's a super winnable fight for Spivak if he has the right game plan. Because I can't trust him to have that game plan, which is to go to the body. I can't bet him pre-fight. But if he's not hitting Lewis's body, I'm telling you, I may just every round be like, fuck it. Keep firing on Lewis.
More.
And you might get, after 3, you know what number you're going to get on Lewis after 3? Actually, nah, you won't get the crazy number because it's not like a title fight, whatever, but you probably still get 15 to 1.
I mean, it's conceivable. Yeah, that's conceivable.
So why wouldn't I keep, and I'm not saying I'm saying throw $5.
Right.
There's no reason to go heavy, but imagine this becomes in for a penny, in for a pound. If that fight's still going in the 4th round, give me the guy that's fought into the 4th round before that still only needs 1 punch to end it.
Yeah. And has it and carries the power.
Right. So so I'm going to look. So and not like that, but look. Yeah, I'm a gambler, but I don't want to fucking bet against Lewis. I love the guy. You know what's awesome about Lewis? My girlfriend likes MMA. She's not hardcore about the sport. She likes MMA. But she loves Derek Lewis because the dude's going to be fucking hilarious.
Right.
He's going to come out and he's going to have great talks. He's going to be a great character. He's great for our sport, man. He really is.
Yeah.
You love the guy. And so, yeah, maybe I don't want to bet against him. Do I need to win an extra unit? Nah, dude. I'm still, you asked me when this show started, how do I feel about every card, every Saturday cards? Guys like him are the reason I love it. I get to watch Derek Lewis. I don't need him on do I need him on the undercard of a pay-per-view? Or do I want him headlining something and trust me, you said you hate that there's no crowd. Them 100 people there gonna make it sound like there's a fucking crowd.
Yeah, they will.
And then and if he wins, they get another NFT.
Yeah.
His balls is hot and that cup goes and it's another NFT.
Right.
Or whatever crazy shit he's gonna say. And we're here for it, man. Here you get 2 of Nickel, you've got Nichols in chat. He's right. 2 of us, and I don't know if 2 of us is an elite striker from the technical perspective, but power-wise, absolutely. And I think Pavlovich is a super technical elite striker with power. Yeah, Spivak is not. When has Spivak ever shown some elite level striking?
Right.
Can I ask why are you a poker guy? Is that why the name is Double Nickels?
If you're unfamiliar with Mr. Double Nickels,
Pocket Fives is Double Nickels.
He is one of the sharpest dudes that I've come across, like in the Twitter MMA Instagram sphere.
Is he Double Nickels on here?
I'm not sure what he's. I'll connect the two of you. Dude's super sharp, like ludicrously sharp, and I don't.
Well, I'm an idiot, so I love that.
Yeah.
Except for tomorrow, we'll see what happens tomorrow.
I'm still trying to figure out why he listens to my show, unless it's like one of those things where he just like likes to fade the shit I say. Because he is wildly smart, man. Super sharp dude. No, listen, you make some salient points about Lewis, right? I won't disregard that. I think Spivak's path to victory, he just needs to Daniel Cormier this thing. He needs to go in, make Derek work a little bit, take him down, and then choke him out. I mean, he's got the body big enough to do it, and that should be 100% what he does. But I don't know necessarily that he can. Oddly enough, I have this weird feeling that Derek Lewis approaches this somewhat just like a prison fight, where he's just like, I just cannot possibly lose to another Russian with a V in their last name. Like, it's just, this has like, what was that game? Fight Night, Undisputed or whatever. That's what this feels like. This feels like Andre Ward versus the mysterious Russian bare knuckle in the laundry room. That's what this feels like. I think Derek Lewis is a live dog at plus 170. If you're going to bet Chase Sherman at plus 185, you have to bet Derek Lewis at plus 170. I mean, that makes sense to me.
But I would rather live bet him.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way: if he wins first round KO and you don't get any money in, it's still hilarious.
Yeah.
And you lose nothing.
Right. So,
but why not bet him? Look, is he ever gonna win a round because of technical dominance? I mean, like if he wins in the first round, you missed out. But if he loses the first round, and by loses the first round, I mean the fight got to the second round, he lost the round. Right. You're getting what's the worst price you're getting on him after one? Plus 350.
Right.
He's plus 170.
Yeah.
What do you think you're getting? Worst price, plus 350.
Yeah.
Worst.
Yeah.
And then you ladder it. Every round he's in the fight, like, you just keep hammering the Lewis live line. He's never. Can I answer? May I take this one?
Yeah, go for it.
The reason I would say he's not out of promotion, he's a fan favorite, but more importantly, heavyweight is so like if he was 155, he's probably out. At heavyweight just doesn't have a lot of people that are like draws. Like look, dude, Sherman lost every fight. They brought goddamn Sherman back.
I think that Derek Lewis has a home as long as he wants one.
I do too. And more importantly, he's a guy that they'll worry about in terms of going to a Bellator and being a marketable
100%. They will worry about that.
They're not worried about Van Derel even.
No, but Derek Lewis. Because
even Bellator is not going to be like, Jared Van Der is here. Everybody's awesome. You guys are confirm the worst. Yeah.
Juan Espino, watch out. We pulled Juan Espino away. No,
right. Oh shit, Tafa.
You got to give Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis has a home as long as he wants one. I've often wondered how committed to the sport Derek Lewis remains. And then if this were to be a thing, you have to sell Derek Lewis's final fight in front of a crowd. You cannot have the Derek Lewis saga pitter out.
Just not in Houston.
Right.
He doesn't do so good there.
No. I mean, just move it to Austin or something. Maybe something a little bit down the road.
How about Albuquerque?
Albuquerque's a perfect spot for him. Yeah.
See, I brought that trip.
You brought the whole thing back, man. You literally circled the whole thing back.
I'm a pro.
You really tied it all together. The rug really tied the room together. All right.
I'm in for a penny and for a pound right now.
Let's run through some of these prelims real quick here.
Sure.
Natalia Silva.
I only have two bets.
Okay, cool.
I'll give you my picks, but and I'll say I'm not betting it.
Gotcha. Awesome. Natalia Silva taking on Teresa Bleda, I believe is how you say it. Is it Bleda?
Blade all over my couch.
That's hey yo.
Hey
yo. She's 6-0. She's undefeated. Taking on Natalia Silva at 13-5-1. She's the underdog here, Miss Bleda. Natalia Silva coming back at a -160. Over on rounds of 2.5. I've seen a lot of people like really hyped up on Bleda here. Is that just, as I call it, women's science? You just taking a women's underdog because the skill disparity is just, I mean,
if you have a strong take on this fight,
I don't. I got you. Sorry.
If you're a Twitter guy, there's a strong fight here, a strong take here. I assume if you win this one, your next thing you're going to say is DM for VIP pricing, because there is no way you can have a strong take. Silva didn't fight for 3 years, and then she looked pretty good against Jasuda Vicious. Yeah. Nothing like her tape.
Correct. Nothing like it.
Bleda is 20. She's had 6 fights. She looked. I was really impressed with the contender series because she was compromised in the 3rd round and fought through it. Here's why I say, if your next thing will say DM for VIP pricing, you're betting this fight on the strength of 1 fight each. Because if you're picking Silva, you're only looking at her last fight.
Yeah.
If you're picking Bleda, because she fought in like the North Pole League, like she fought in like the California Penal League.
Yeah.
So she's had 1 fight that like mattered, and so is Silva. So I realize that Silva's fought like better competition like previously, but again, she fought them when she was like 18.
Right.
I don't care. Like she took 3 years off. So I'll lean Silva just because I think Bleda kind of fights like Jasuda Vicious, but I'm not betting this.
Yeah.
And again, why would I have a strong take here? You literally take people, like I tape contender series. Like I do this like on our channel. I'm finding like Kazakhstan 8mm basement film on dudes.
Right.
But I'm somehow getting more tape on them than we really have with these two.
Right.
So I don't know why people love Bleda here. I don't think she's gonna get takedowns. But I don't fucking know, man. Like you're really basing it on 1 15-minute fight each. So look, if you want to flip a coin and bet the dog, I'm not going to dissuade you.
I love women's dogs, but this is not the dog I'm interested in this card. I want to address something real quick.
Sure.
I'm assuming this is towards me. I'm hoping so. So how did Poirier come up with a hot sauce before DL? DL being my initials, so Dale Lippin. Angel, it's interesting you say that. I have long since pined for a line of sauces and or barbecue. If I could have it my way, where I was able to ride off into the sunset, I would open up a barbecue spot. And yeah, man, it's something that I've long since talked about. And the name of the sauce would be none other than Drippy Lips, which I've been told is absolutely disgusting for a name. But I think that if I were just to run a solo sauce business, it would be Drippy Lips. And if I were to open my own barbecuing spot, it would be called Divine Swine, is what I would be going for there. So, but yeah, all right, we'll move on to the next fight. But Poirier started that because he got money, and I don't. Brady Highstand taking on Fernie Garcia. Garcia at 10-2, Highstand at 5-2. I'm hoping this is not one of the ones that he had, because I'm on Highstand here at the -170. I think his wrestling's better over Fernie. Fernie looked okay, I guess, in the Fernie versus Journey matchup. But I don't know, man. I'm inclined to take Brady here just based on wrestling acumen and cardio and just let it ride at a -170. And I feel like it's just a fair, safe money line play that I wouldn't be opposed to putting in a parlay.
So we're going to get back to this hot sauce thing at the end of the card. Because
okay,
as somebody who's made hot sauce before,
yeah,
horribly.
Oh man.
But no, I'm on Highstand here. No bet on this fight either. But I talked about DFS, so I'll give the people Divine Swine. Yeah, and I my headphones were on the whole time.
Okay.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, I heard everything.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm on Highstand here, like from a DFS perspective. I mean, like that Journey Newsom fight is, look, again, we're talking about like limited tape. I mean, High Stand's had 7 pro fights, but sometimes there's tape that's just
it's enough.
That's just so telling. And
it's enough.
That Journey Newsom, like, I mean, he was shooting at him from like 6 feet away.
Yes. Yeah.
But like he basically, like, again, I don't want to keep like bringing up pro wrestling, but it's like fitting here. It was like an Irish whip. Like he got like Irish whipped against the ropes and like took him down.
Yeah.
And he saw him. There's no, so either his eyesight's terrible or he had no fucking clue. Because this was like, he was like like, you know, like you do your, like, you know, your little, you like, right. He was doing that shit. So I don't know how much he's improved. So like, do you like Brandon Olivas? You ever listen to him or like?
No, I don't. I'm not familiar.
So Olivas is he's a fighter.
Okay.
But he is a podcaster. Him and Santino DeFranco do a podcast.
Okay.
Funny. He was on with Clint last night.
Okay.
And you know Clint.
Yep.
So, of course, I got to go in the chat and like fucking
poke.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but like, hey, man, Olivas did it to me Friday.
Right.
Olivas came in my chat. Like, I love it. He's a cool ass dude. And his perspective is cool because he trains with some of these guys. And like, I love hearing a fighter's perspective on some of these guys. And he was like talking how good Fernie Garcia was at some things. And he goes, so I'm picking High Stand. After like 10 minutes of saying how good Fernie goes, so I'm picking Brady High Stand. Like,
he just flipped it on. All right.
No, he's like, okay. He's like, dude, the guy can't stuff a takedown. Like, so High Stand by decision seems like the play, but I'd rather just bet him. I mean, it's his money lines. It's not like he's a parlay piece. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's just for a 2 or 3 legger. I think he's a safe. I think he's safe.
But from like anybody that plays DFS in the chat, like his salary is like pretty reasonable this week. It's like 8,500, and he could I love when dudes that can. I love people that can score. I love dudes, man. I love dudes.
Yeah, I love dudes too.
People that can score really well on a decision are always appealing, like on a DraftKings perspective. And he could, I mean, he had 6 takedowns in his last fight. Right. Like the one against the Tercius.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who I mean, the one he lost, but 6 takedowns, 66 strikes, 6 takedowns. Like in a loss, he scored well. In a win here, he's probably going to score like a ton of points. Right. And I don't know how, this is a tough slate to predict ownership. Like, I know like there's better people than me to tell you that. But like, he's a guy I think is going to kind of fly under the radar here that could just win. And like, you know how like people hate boring, like, oh man, it's so boring in the 30s laying on him. Yeah. Well, now when you have a bet on him and he's up 2-0. Right. Yeah. You're like, nope, keep doing it. Lay on him till the ref tells you to get up.
Exactly. Yeah. Just pin him down. Big brother him if you have to.
It's like in soccer. Your team's winning. They're like, here's the yellow card for wasted time. You're like, yep.
Perfect. Give me more.
You're like, you know what? Sub him and get somebody else that could waste just as much time.
That's right.
Just get the win. And I think High Stand here, objectively, I know he's only had 7 pro fights, but decent amateur experience. And I think that the game plan is going to be really simple. Just close distance, take him down, make it boring. Like, I don't know what High Stand here. I have it up. I mean, High Stand sub, I guess, could be interesting. His TK, 350. That's not enough meat on the bone for me. I need more than that. But I know, but you know, I have to. Well, I have a couple of weird bets I'll give you on the undercard. Like,
okay,
I have one that's not out yet that I guarantee will be 10-1.
Well, let's get weird right now. Vanessa Demopoulos taking on Maria Oliveira. Oliveira at 13-5. Vanessa Demopoulos is 8-4. And she's the underdog here against Maria.
We're going to disagree on this one, I guarantee.
We're going to disagree on this one, you think?
I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Oh, give me your pick. I guarantee we're going to disagree.
I'm inclined to lean towards Vanessa. I was right. I'm inclined to lean towards Vanessa. My problem with her, though, is that her fight IQ is 0. Which I don't expect. Listen, there's not a lot of women I expect out there to have a very high fight IQ.
My girlfriend has her headphones in. It's fine.
I said there's not a lot. I didn't say there's any. It'd be like equivalent with me saying that women aren't funny. That would probably make her more mad if I told her.
Who's your favorite women comedian?
It's none.
Not Amy Schumer.
There are none. There's The only woman on the planet Earth that makes me laugh is my wife occasionally, but I generally believe that women are not very funny.
Mine's Phyllis Diller.
Phyllis Diller. Why do I know that name?
She was on like the Match Game.
Okay.
When you could like smoke and drink on camera. And, like,
yeah.
everybody could be like, nice ass. They're like, ha! And like nobody cared. And nobody was hurt.
Yeah.
Like, because it wasn't like Richard Dawson could be like, do you want to see my penis?
Right.
And everybody be like, yeah, we already have. And have the guys too. They're like, we've all seen his cock. And they're like, all right.
I think
is your producer ready to be like, I have to kill this show like immediately?
No, producer Jake just hangs out. So normally what producer Jake does in the background is he watches.
We had a nice 3-minute chat while you broke the fucking computer.
Yeah, he watches hockey and rips his bong. And he just kind of hangs out. And then,
but he served our country, which like I appreciate greatly.
Yeah. That's you know what, producer Jake, I forgot to tell you, I didn't text you for Marine Corps birthday. So my bad.
Good dude.
Belated Marine Corps birthday.
My girlfriend would hate him because she's a huge Flyers fan, whereas I don't give a shit about hockey.
Well, we did text each other for Veterans Day. So, but I did not tell him Happy Marine Corps birthday. So I dropped the ball on that one, buddy. Sorry. Anyway, I did. Oh gosh, I got to get you in here for a split second. Come in. I'm just gonna say it. You don't have to come in. But I saw the most high speed thing ever for Marine Corps birthday. The crossing guard at my daughter's school. Guy that's very clearly been retired for years, Jake, dress blues while he was doing the crossing guard duty. Put his dress blues on and was doing crossing guard duty for Marine Corps birthday. Anyway, all right, sorry. I thought, man, it's high speed, bro, real high speed. All right, where were we at here? I was on Vanessa, just an initial lean, but she fights so unintelligently, man. It makes me I'm very upset. But Maria, on the flip side of that, she's got bad hair, and I don't trust chicks with bad hair. So how does she win? And she's very small and not very physically strong. How does she win? How does she overpower super flexible glitter factory, former stripper, exotic dancer, Vanessa Demopoulos?
Yeah. So first of all, there's a lot to take in there.
Sorry.
Lot to take in there. I fit. All right. So first of all, if you're going to bet Demopoulos, I'd take her right now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the steam is only going to go on her. There's two things here I don't like, and I'm going to speak as like, so just because I don't do stats.
Yeah.
You know why I don't do stats? Like on my UFC.
I don't trust anything.
No, you know why I don't do stats when I break down? Because Weezy does. Because Brady does. Because Monk does. I'm different. If you watch any of my NFL shows, you're like, is this the same guy? Like I mix in, like I just have to mix in stats when I feel like that. So I'm gonna bring up a very important stat for this fight, and that's why I bring that up. The narrative here is that Demopoulos has decided because she can get a submission because she's gonna take Oliveira down. Well, how many takedowns has Demopoulos attempted in 4 fights? 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not many.
So why are we assuming that that's the game plan? It's hard for me to get behind the fact that Demopoulos is just going to go for takedowns immediately.
Right.
If she hasn't proven she can. Meanwhile, here's something I know. Her striking defense is shit.
Awful.
And Oliveira, I didn't bet that fight against DePaula because I'm never betting DePaula like as a favorite. I think DePaula had beaten up like Luke SWR betting. I think his girl is he simps for Jujua.
Oh gosh.
And I think that DePaul like crushed Jujua.
Oh, that nose.
And I'm like, well, how can you bet? I know, but like that's his chick. Hey, look, dude, Agapov is my chick. Like, so
okay.
Although Juarez maybe
she got cut today.
If she needs a helping hand.
Silvana got cut today.
If she needs a helping hand, I am here.
Yeah.
To give her gross old man stuff.
No, man. I'm sure she's into it.
So back to this fight. I'm not convinced that Demopoulos is going to take this to the ground. And if she doesn't, she's going to get pieced the fuck up.
Yes.
And I think she's going to get pieced up to the point where I think Oliveira could knock her out.
Oh, boy.
Well, Demopoulos is like, I get that, like the whole everybody loves Demopoulos, like the whole interview with Rogan, like and like you could, I know, but like you could, but think of the money that goes in. I think there's some like there's some love for her. Just like she's a good story to root for.
Sure.
And everybody loves a stripper, like obviously, like
clearly.
But if I can be frank, she's like a Tuesday night stripper.
Lunch buffet, 100%.
She's not your Friday. She's not your like, I'm done with work for the week. Let's go see strippers. She's your like
lunch shift.
She's my I'm paying my way through school, I swear, stripper. And I'm like, all right, let's get a dance. Like, but one. Like, I'm not like, I don't want the extended menu. It's like, I'm just here. Here's your goddamn $20. And like, where's the chick with where's the next one?
Right.
Like, you have these days. I had to make sure my girlfriend let her headphones in. All right, we're good. My relationship's still intact.
Still intact. You're good.
Great. So I think this fight plays out on the feet.
Yeah.
I think Oliveira, and if it does, it's 15 minutes on the feet. I think, like, why did Demopoulos beat Jinyu Frey? Because Jinyu Frey throws no goddamn volume.
None. She's volumeless. Yeah.
So that's why she beat her. And a lot of people. I was on Demopoulos in that fight. A lot of people did not think she won. I won the bet, so I don't care.
Right.
But I think this line's only going to go in Demopoulos' favor. And I think if you like Demopoulos, you take her now. I personally am going to wait. I think Oliveira is going to probably get to like 105.
Yeah.
But at 120, I like it. I think it's going to be her being active. And if Demopoulos, and let's say Demopoulos even like at some point in the fight changes tactics, I don't trust her to do it in the first round. So you're probably going to so Oliveira's probably going to win the first round just on volume.
Right. So
be the better striker. So for me, it's Oliveira. Again, no real bet here.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting because if she gets the plus money, I'm hitting it.
Oh, for sure. If Oliveira gets the plus money, I'm absolutely. I would wait.
I almost feel like whoever's plus money here is the side.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I solely bet women's underdogs anyway, so whoever's the underdog is going to get my money. So I'll wait because I agree. I think the line will probably move a little bit. That being said, I think that the submission acumen of Demopoulos might be, sort of canceled out by Maria. If I'm not mistaken, Oliveira is Brazilian. And to your point about soccer, I feel like, every Brazilian kid is just basically born with like a little bit of jiu-jitsu that is probably better than a lot of American kids, like, traveling team jiu-jitsu. Or in this instance, every Brazilian kid's really good at playing soccer. And even like the shitty Brazilian soccer kids are better than most travel team American kids. So I'm cool with whoever the plus money person is on Saturday for that. All right, Ricky Tercios at 11-3, taking on Kevin Natividad at 9-3. They brought back Natividad, another guy they brought back. Killa K, Kevin Natividad plus 135, Ricky Tercios minus 155. Over and around 2.5. Lou, and be 100% honest with you, I have no action on this fight because I don't trust Tercios and his movement, and just he's too squirrely for me to pin down, and I don't know what I'm getting out of him. And then Kevin Natividad, I don't know how hard he's going to fight because this is a second chance at the big boy promotion. So did he learn from the mistakes? Is he going to come back? Is he going to give us an inspired performance? Or are they just feeding him to a guy to help him get some rounds? Me personally, I'm staying away from this fight.
Yeah.
Next. Fair. All right. Fair enough.
I mean, by the way, just for the record, I see people like hitting Tercios hard here because they think it's a buy low spot. We talked about like limited tape on people. Do you really need to? I mean, look, man, if that's a hobby fight, he busted parlays.
Yeah.
Well, and he's, I don't smoke weed personally. I used to. I don't currently smoke weed. I don't give a fuck who smokes weed. Like, I don't have a problem with it. I don't like what it does to me.
Right.
Like, I just don't like how I feel.
Right.
Maybe I'm older, but I've never been anti-weed in my life. Like, I'm like, absolutely go smoke. But like, he should probably not smoke.
Yeah.
He should, or at least be like, hey, like, yeah, you're like, his trainer should be like, here's like a Cheech and Chong size fucking blunt. You win the fight, it's yours.
Right.
But no drugs, like no weed until this point.
It's like Max Holloway's cupcakes. Like Max Holloway doesn't get cupcakes.
And if I knew his camp was doing that, I would bet him round 1 KO.
Yeah.
I bet him literally round 1 KO.
Yeah.
Like he'd be like, yep, got to get the fuck out. It basically be like Popeye wanting the next cheeseburger. But
Next.
no bet. Let's move on. Fuck this. Anybody on Tertius, good for you. I get it. It's a buy low spot, I guess. But like, man, how do you get the salt out of your mouth with that one?
Right. Next two fights are probably the only two prelim spots I'm actually pretty excited for. Maybe you're landing in the same spots. Miles Johns at 12-2, Vince Morales at 11-6. We're getting Miles Johns at a -165. Vince coming back +145 over on rounds of 2.5. I think this. I hate to say, I don't use the L word. I think this is a cruise for Miles Johns here. I think he's got the better cardio. I think he's got more path to victory, and I think he's smart enough. For most of the duration of the fight, he does have some lapses in IQ, but I don't think Vince does anything well enough to get him out of there, and I don't think he's going to bank rounds against Miles. Like, Vince doesn't hit particularly hard, doesn't have particularly great wrestling. I don't think he's a super submission threat. I just trust basically the 2 rounds that Miles John's going to bank with the wrestling and hope that he doesn't screw everything up in the third. I think Miles John's in a sweet spot here, man. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I don't think you have to worry about what's going to happen in the third.
Yeah? You don't think it's getting there?
No, I think this is going to be one-way traffic. I think Miles John's going to fuck him up.
Yeah.
For the record, I had Morales KO against Martinez, but that's because my book had it at +900, and I'm like, his only path to victory is bonking Martinez. In all fairness, Martinez had shown he could get bonked.
Right.
So my stronger bet here is the under 2.5 because Johns, I don't love his striking defense either. And he's taking the fight on short notice. So like that needs to be said. That being said, do you know what Vince Morales, you were saying he doesn't have power. I think he has a little bit of power. Do you know what Vince Morales is terrible at? Stopping leg kicks. Do you know what Miles Johns likes doing? Kicking motherfuckers' legs.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're like, if Miles Johns wants to go to the grappling, it's like high stand. It's like the high stand fight.
Right.
If he wants to stand there and just kick his fucking leg, I don't know why he can't do that either. Like, he has multiple paths to victory. I think John's going to that Patrick, Addicted to Combat, our friend, has some plays on John's here. Like, so we're doing like, we do some degen round robins, and he likes John's round 3 submission and round 3. And you're like, I'll get out of bed for a round 3 sub prop. I'm like, I live for this. I'm like, okay. They're like, I don't know who was fighting. Like, oh, you like this fight? Cool. Just tell me. Just let me hit the button.
Right.
But I don't think it gets that far. I think Johns can fuck him up in the first 2 rounds. I think Johns has like a ceiling. Like, I don't think he's like, I know he's 12-2 and that's a good record, but like, he should not have lost to Castaneda. I'll forgive the Batista fight.
Batista's a beast.
But I mean, Batista was very young in his development at that point too. But so like, I think Johns probably should have won that fight, to be honest. Like, but I will totally forgive the loss. Like, I can't forgive the Castaneda loss. So the question is, look, that's 9 months ago. He's probably been stewing, like, knowing, like, fuck, dude. Like, and I think he just comes out here and fucks up Morales, man, who's way too busy on Twitter, too. He's one of these guys, like, not all fairness, I thought Frivola was that guy, and, like, hey, man, good on him.
Man, he came out and did the
thing. He wrecked a few of my bets, but, and I'm an asshole, because, like, I like the guy, and I'm like, nah. I think I bought into, like, a couple dudes I trust the most who were, like, they were max betting Ottman. They're like, dude, like, writing me private, like, dude, this line's so off. And I'm like, and I went against, like, all the narrative, all the tape, and it doesn't matter. I made a mistake. Like,
it happens.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm not like one of these fucking, like, 90% of Twitter where I'm like, oh, look, another winning weekend, 12 in a row. Like, dude, like, can I just say that's why I respect Clint so much? First of all, like, I talk to Clint, like, privately all the time. Family guy, good dude. just a bro.
Yeah.
He always owns his shit. I don't have the skin he has.
Yeah.
He's so nice to the haters. My
not.
response to all these guys, I'm like, nice burner, you fucking hoe. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
not mad.
I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, I'm not taking that shit.
No, never.
But,
you got me fucked up. You think I'm letting you talk to me like that? There ain't no way.
But Clint is like one of the best dudes that I know, and like he means well. He cares about people. Like, so like, and I'm not like trying to single him out. There's others, like a lot of us. There's a lot of us that are like that, and I think people don't realize, like, dude, we're allowed to have bad weeks. Like, you know what you pay for Clint's picks? You know you pay for Dale's picks? You know you pay, right. So like, dude, and look, if you're watching my Friday show and you don't know what to bet, this is your fault. Like, because it's a comedy show. Like, we run a variety show on Friday at this point.
Right.
Like, if you want DFS help, that's what Monk's for. You're coming to this show to be like, okay, Lou agrees with me, and then what's his plus 2,000 and above props?
Right.
Like, and I make no bones about that shit. I'm pretty transparent. I think there's people in the community that aren't super transparent about that. So anyway, back to Vince Morales. When you're a guy that's on Twitter all the time and you're on a losing streak, dude, get the fuck off Twitter.
Yeah.
You know who could be on Twitter all the time and do that? Adrian Yanez. He wants to come and like be a friend of the community. Or you be a guy like GM3 where you're like win or lose, like you know what you're getting.
Right.
Elkins, all these fucking dudes. The OGs, like that's cool. When you're a dude that like loses every fight and you're like, who do you want to see me fight next? It's like retirement.
We're nobody.
Dude,
I want to see you fight your landlord. Yeah, man. You got to make a rent.
I'm like, bro, I have more followers than you and I'm a nobody.
Right.
Like, stop. Like, how about you worry about winning a fight?
Yeah.
And then let's talk.
Yeah.
McKinney is building his brand, but he's also like of that age where I think he realizes this is 50% of the job.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. Vince Morales is not of that age.
I ignored Twitter for too long.
Vince Morales is my mom texting me LOL.
Right.
Like, no, stop it. Not have this. Mom, win a fight. And I'm not convinced my mom would get knocked out by Morales at this point. Because my dad is like a beast. And my mom has shown awesome, like,
she got good footwork.
Well, I'm just going off memories when I was a kid, but like my mom has shown really good takedown defense.
She's good. She's good.
The problem is my mom has not shown a good get-up game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say you got like 15 brothers. Oh.
If my mom picks this is the one show. She's like, I wanted to support you.
Yeah.
Fuck.
All right. Jennifer Maya at 19-9 taking on Marina Moroz at 11-3. They got Jennifer Maya at a plus 165 here on Marina. Come back minus 190 over rounds 2.5. Is this, dude? This should be flipped, right? This line should be flipped around. I know Agapova's your girl, but dude, Agapova, sorry, Agapova is your girl, but Marina beat her, and I mean that with all due respect. She beat her. She didn't take down a wild bear or anything like that. She beat Agapova. Jennifer Maya's legit. Minus 190 against Jennifer Maya. Dude, this line has to be wrong. It has to be. You have to play Maya here. There's no way you're on Marina Moroz at minus 190. Who's playing that? Don't tell me you're playing that.
I'm not. I'm not playing this fight at all. But all right. So I'm not betting the fight.
Okay.
And I'm not sure that Maya's the side either. But
okay.
But I know that Moroz at these odds are definitely not the side.
Yeah.
I don't know that Maya's the side.
Okay.
Moroz is not the side.
Okay. Fair enough.
From a DFS perspective, this is a problem because if I could trust Maya to have a good game plan.
Yeah.
She's your best DFS option.
Yes.
But I can't trust that. We've seen Maya fight. Like, I mean,
yeah,
she's still riding off the fact that she took a round off Shevchenko. Like, I think what Moroz, it's not just that Moroz. Like, when I knew I lost my Agapova bet against Moroz. The second that I realized I fucking bet against the Ukrainian right after the fucking war started.
100%. Yes.
I'm like, oh my God.
Yes.
And I was trying to get on DraftKings to I'm like, can I hedge this? And they're like, no, the fights. I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, I lost this bet. I think Moroz is like got some decent skills, but no, she should not be 2-1. If you're gonna bet the fight, Maya's the price. I do not dispute this. From a DFS perspective, Moroz is priced at 9,000, which is like absurdly high. Yes. I realize they price it based on the money lines. Like they don't price it based on anything else. Like, what's Maya's equity on the ground? And that's such not from DFS. It's like for betting. Like, could Maya be the better ground fighter here if she was proactive? Because if she is, she makes this easy. This is 30-27 Maya.
Right.
I don't know that I trust her to do that. And like to your point, she's not Agapova. Like, look, just because I love Agapova does not mean I think she's like good.
Right.
I just think she's good at sex.
Yeah.
Being sexy times.
Good at looking at. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Very nice. She likes ping pong and disco.
Right.
I'm not betting this. And I can't because I can't trust Maya, but I'm not taking Moroz at almost 2-1.
Yeah.
I'll say this. This is another one of these fights where like, let's see where this line moves. Maya gets to like 2-1. Then it becomes an auto bet for me.
Right.
Auto bet. Like you say plus 165. My book does not have her that high. I have 150. But if I get better odds on her,
right.
Like if this thing gets steamed,
yes.
Then it becomes like out of like principle, like
have to.
Maya should not be a 2-1 dog, but like
I think it's already disrespectful, so I have to
probably. But like, yeah, I mean, like look who Maya's fighting and look who Moroz is fighting. Like, it's crazy. You can't bet Moroz. Well, that's all I'll say is I have no bet on this fight at the moment. You cannot bet Moroz at this price. Like, it's lunacy. From being an underdog against Agapova, she was what, plus 130?
Right.
Really? Like,
yeah, I know. It's ludicrous. I don't understand it. It's recency bias.
Maya, I may actually have to bet Maya now.
There we go. That's
good. Now that we're talking, like, I'll wait, but like, I'll tell you right now, I will not have a bet on Moroz.
There you go.
I'll send you my bets, like, before Saturday.
Yeah.
It will not involve having a bet on Moroz, no matter
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh, and by the way, Maya, again, if I knew Maya would go to takedowns, she's your slate breaker on DraftKings.
100%.
She's 7,200. You know who would have been the best play this week, underdog-wise? Cody fucking Brundage.
Yeah,
at
I know.
6,900 on DraftKings would have been the best play like of all time. A, because I'm biased, but B, because the dude's a guy who goes for takedowns, throws a lot, would have been ultimate. Now you're looking at the low dogs in this card, and you have Chase Sherman at 7,100, who I love, but he's going to be high owned now.
Yeah,
Lewis is probably going to be really high owned.
Yeah,
but he doesn't score well unless he like every round he doesn't knock Spivak out.
Right,
he's not scoring well.
Yeah,
but Maya at 7,200 is a super interesting for anybody watching that cares about the DFS. It's a super interesting low. And she will be low owned. She will be totally low owned in this spot. So maybe I have to buy her.
Do it.
That came out way wrong. I can't.
No, man, do it. Yeah,
how much?
You can borrow. I mean, listen.
I want to buy her. How much?
You're just buying her for the night. Zlaga Zumagulov at 14-7, taking on Charles Johnson at 11-3. We're getting Zlagas at a plus 135. Charles Johnson with that weird little rat tail haircut.
Inner motherfucking G.
Inner G minus 155. I think the power advantage goes to Zlagas, but maybe the output and the pure chaotic energy goes to Charles Johnson. I don't know. I tend to bet Zlagas every time he comes out because I just love dudes from the Caucasus Mountain regions and guys that wear dead animals. So it's hard for me to go against Zlagas here, but dude, he finds ways to lose fights.
Yeah, he does. Oh, was that? I mean, are you asking me a question? Or?
No, I mean, I'm just saying he finds ways to lose fight. I want to bet. I want to bet on Zlagas here, but he finds ways to lose fights, and I just feel like I'm going to get bit in the ass here by going for yet another underdog. But he's a Caucasus Mountain warrior, so I might just have to bet him out of principle alone, man, because I got to go with my Caucasians, you know.
I mean, like Roman Dolidze.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my
See,
dude.
I pay attention.
Dude, that's my man's pots and pans right there.
I can't believe. Whoa! What did you just say?
I said that's my man's pots and pans.
Okay.
Am I not allowed to say that?
No, that's like my line for fucking. That's like a Philly thing, and that's my line for years.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not saying you stole it. I'm like, brother. Like, that's fucking great. Dude, I say that all the time. My man, pots and pans. That's
I had a guy.
That's my thing. That's my phrase, dude.
I didn't know. I had a guy that I worked with in the one prison I was at. He used to say that about people all the time, and that's always like stuck in my head. So I just every once in a while just pull it out. I had no idea that was your thing.
There's like some old blues guys in Philly. My man, pots and pans. And I'm like, all right, I loved it. And they're like, yeah. So here's my bet on this fight. I'm waiting for the props. It's the only thing I bet I'm gonna have.
Okay.
I'm gonna bet energy split decision here.
Okay.
And which means I'm also gonna bet Saga split decision and the fight to end in split. Because when you make these bets, you always have to bet all three. Because as long as it goes split decision, you're making bank, dude. I'm gonna guess that he's gonna be like close to 10-1. I'm not impressed with energy. He's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and now it looks worse that Malcolm Gordon was just like 1 round off Makayev. Like
yes.
But Johnson's okay. His volume's decent. Salgas, he beat Jeff Molina. I don't care. He won that fight. I
agree.
I thought he won that fight. The judges hate the dude, and he always loses by fucking decision. And it's not like he's a knockout guy. I mean, this fight goes decision, and this is an auto bet for me. If I think a fight goes decision, 19 out of 20 times, I'm betting the split.
Right.
And this is a perfect split fight. Because they hate Zalgas.
They do.
He gets a takedown. They're like, nope, didn't count. He throws a punch. They're like, nope, we didn't see it. I swear to God, they just hate the fucking dude.
Yeah. It wasn't a significant strike.
and meanwhile, if you want to play like this narrative perspective, it's people saying like, well, this is the thanks they're giving Charles for taking on Makayev on short notice. But
ain't no easy fight.
But I don't think people love this guy, and I'm like, is he that good? I watched his tape, and I'm like, he's kind of like I don't think there's one thing he's bad at.
Right.
That just means he's like a decisionator. He's not coming out with like fists. He's not like, I'm gonna he's not the kind of dude that's gonna start your guy in a minute.
Right.
He's not gonna win like a volume-based knockout. He's kind of just okay. And Zalgas, look, man, they gave him a contract extension after a 1-3 run. That's saying something.
Yeah.
It's saying they're like, it means Dana White's like, hey man, sorry, you should probably be 3-1.
Right. He finds ways to lose, which is the only thing I don't like.
But I don't think he finds ways to lose. I thought he beat Molina decisively.
I agree. That was a very bad.
But Molina's like their golden boy, dude. So
James Krause.
Well, let's we could have a whole talk about him if you want. But in all fairness, I think the Moldovan, the Balky mafia, the Canadian mafia, he gonna have a lot more problems than us. Really? Can we talk about what you think the outcome is going to be of that?
It depends on how bad he is. It depends on how bad off he is.
That's not what I'm asking.
Oh,
what do you think the UFC and the Gaming Commission, all these things, what do you think the end result of the investigation is going to be?
They're not going to do it. If they'll either scapegoat him or there'll be nothing.
Is that what you think?
Yeah. There's no this whole baby is too precious, and Dana, the Fertittas, everybody, they're all too embedded out there to have something happen where this comes back in a negative light on them.
That's why I'm surprised you don't think something's going to happen.
I think they're going to scapegoat somebody, but
he's going to get blackballed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I don't think it'll go any further than that.
They're going to make a tremendous example of him, in my opinion.
I hope so.
And And then we're going to find out a year from now that he is dead in some bullshit house break-in in Canada, because from everything I know about this, and I know people, and I know the gambling industry for like a really long time. And I know the gambling industry before we had online. I know when you had to have a guy.
Right.
I know you could owe not even that much money to people and get fucked badly. Like, I'm talking, I don't want to tell some stories on this thing, but like, I know people that were stuck, $1,000 and their lives got turned upside down by not paying it.
Yeah.
For what I think he owes and what he caused these people, there's no end of the earth he can go to get away from it. I think ultimately they're going to be like, if you have to step away from this, you can never be on TV again. You can never be part of the sport. And you have to like get the fuck away from your gym. And if you do that, like nothing. And I think he's going to be like, cool, because I have to literally leave the country to get away from these fuckers. I think Krause is going to be found dead within 3 years. I'm not saying it like, if I'm being honest with him, I think he got in way over his head to the wrong people, to very powerful people.
I think he just thinks he's too slick. I mean, anytime you talk to him,
I look at
you don't think?
I think he, with this whole Discord, it wasn't his idea. And these people that he's dealing with are like power brokers who've been dealing with gambling for a long time that looked at him like, this is easy.
You think he's a patsy?
I don't think he knew what he was getting into.
Wow.
And I think we're going to hear the James Krause story in 2 years is like, as far as him like banging chicks in the gym, like Senko and Megan Anderson, like, hey man, like, congrats. Like, I think Megan Anderson's like fucking gorgeous. So like, both of them are like, I'd have a 3-way.
Oh man.
So, but I think that they're going to not scapegoat him, but be like, dude, you brought this like weird shit on yourself. And they're going to be like, you have to get out of here, but they're not going to press any issue past that point.
Maybe.
Now I'm going to ask you another question.
Yeah.
Jody Arias or Casey Anthony?
Oh boy. Like to raise a family with?
Why is there a qualifier on this question?
Well, because I don't want to have kids with Casey Anthony.
Well, you can't. Well, in all fairness, I wouldn't worry about having kids with Casey Anthony.
I'm just saying.
In all fairness, you ain't got to worry about that. She'd be like,
I'm saying I don't want to start.
She'd be like, hey, Lou, I'm having too much fun getting drunk every night. Like, can we just not have, I'm like, yep.
Can I throw a wild card in?
Sure.
Amanda Knox.
I know who that is. I mean, I shouldn't say that I know who that is, but I do. And okay. Why? Really? Over them? Really?
Yeah.
Hold on. Am I thinking of the same person? I think I am. She has many salacious videos out there. Why would you say her?
Foxy Noxy? What are you talking about?
Oh no, I'm thinking of there's a porn star named.
Oh no, that's not my speed at all.
Yeah, well, okay. She you know what? She would be, I mean, out of the three of them. Hey, look, again, this is your fault for having me on. You knew I was gonna like whatever.
I knew you were gonna ask me something off the wall.
I feel like if you had to bring one of the three home to your parents.
Oh man. No, man.
No, Knox is out of the three of them.
Oh, out of the three, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. She's the one that's like, she's she has like the more artsy, like classier, like
correct, yeah.
Like, I mean, in the car, she'd be like, "We're going to kill them,"
right? And
I'd be like, "It's the turkey." Like, it was Thanksgiving dinner. Like, can we have one goddamn night, darling?
Can we just have one night without this?
Yes, one goddamn. Like, I'll make coffee. Can we have one goddamn night, and like tomorrow I'll worry about this? Like, that's all I want.
Right.
Whereas I feel like the other two would be like, we're turning the car around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all right. I'm with you. Like, for me, there's no wrong answer.
That's a weird. I mean, I don't know. Where do we even get? How did you get from James Krause to that?
Well, he had to choose between Megan Anderson and Senko.
I don't think he chose at all. I think he just went right down the line.
Okay.
I don't think there's any choice.
Well, I'm not some dude with fake tattoos and whatever. I'm just a guy, and I'm sitting here, and I'm saying these are the chicks that I think are very nice.
Yeah.
So and I'm sorry, and I had to hijack your show again.
No, you're good. I listen. I just.
I'll pay you back. You be on my channel and ruin my show.
Well, you didn't ruin anything. My if you I mean the stuff that we say on here. No, I think I have to be careful what I say about the fighter coach relationship thing. I think sometimes that can be exploitive in nature.
Aspen Ladd has ruined her life.
Yeah.
And as much as people bag on Ladd, like how do you not feel horrible? Don't you feel horrible for her?
To an extent.
Like the abuse that she's taken during fights from her coaches is awful. Like awful.
Yeah. Yeah, and it comes from an unhealthy place too. Which is weird.
It's look at what happens in tennis. All these and it's not just in America it's not great, but like foreign countries, like from 6 years old on, like you have older people just yelling at you and like controlling your life. Like it's like the nature of certain sports, like individual sports. It's weird.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so we'll run top to bottom, just money line leans. You don't have to have a play, just something that you're thinking money line just as a lean. All right.
Picks.
Yeah. Silva Bleda.
Silva.
I'm on Silva as well. Garcia and High Stand as well. Demopoulos Oliveira.
This is where we differ. I'm going Oliveira.
I'll go Demo for right now. Natividad Tercios.
Fuck. Natividad. I just can't trust Tercios.
Yeah, I'm on it. Miles Johns, Vince Morales.
Johns.
I'm on Johns as well. Maya and Moroz.
All right, let's go, buddy. Maya.
There
let's
we
go. Let's go.
Zlagis and Charles Johnson.
Fuck. I'll say Johnson. I already told you the split decision here. Energy.
Okay.
No, zero confidence.
Zero confidence.
Like least confident on the card.
Yeah. I'm on Zlagis with very minimal confidence. Jack Della Maddalena and Danny Roberts.
Stop.
I know. It's Jack all day, baby. Muslim and Andre.
Falkov.
I'm on that as well. Sherman and Cortez Acosta.
Chase motherfucking Sherman.
Let's go. Kutalaba and Njekwe.
I hate myself for that. Fuck. God. Give me Kennedy.
There we go. Derek Lewis.
I hate it.
I hate it too, but I'm on it. Derek Lewis and Sergey Spivak.
Give me Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewis, undefeated in the Apex.
Give me Derek Lewis by like God. By the way, I have to whatever his round 5 KO is. Like
just have to. Little something. All right.
I'm curious if it's out, but like as you wrap this up, I'm gonna actually look to see what his round 5 KO is. If it's out.
Well, what I was gonna say is I'll look that up. Why don't you tell the people where they can find you?
Well, you can find me at Lou Betya on Twitter. You can find me on the MMA Engine YouTube channel. We do DFS breakdowns. 4 of us that on the channel: Brady, Wheezy, Competition, and me. I do a prop show every week. Like I'm not a great. I'm weird. I love props, so I do that. But I am in the midst, as in all day, and when I get off this, no matter how much scotch I've had, of finishing all my storyboards for the World Cup. I will be breaking down the World Cup comprehensively to like my greatest work ever. I'm going to be really proud of this. I'm a big soccer fan as it is. I'm a Manchester United fan. You can hate me all the fuck you want. I don't care. But I am doing like a massive, cool job with this to get everybody primed. And please check that out. I'll release half of it tomorrow. I'm going to record it tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And then half will be Thursday. And because it's his birthday.
Oh, man.
Happy birthday to the macho man. Randy
To the macho.
Savage. Yeah, I'm in heaven right now with Miss Elizabeth. Maybe it's hell. I don't know. Yeah, but her and I are having a cup of coffee in the big time. Eric bought me these shades.
Those are good shades, man.
What are the odds on the Lewis KO round 5?
Plus 3,500.
I mean, you have to, right?
I think it's worth it.
Worth a poke?
Just
worth a shekel?
It's worth it. worth a doubloon.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
A dinar.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Wow. I'll sprinkle some yen on it. All right, Jake, get us out of here. See you guys. Be good to each other.